Greetings friends, welcome to another video. This time we'll be looking at Altergeist, a deck that debuts in Circuit Break, a link deck that's sort of like a control-y, slow sort of deck. That's why we're running Gofu, of course. Every link deck runs Gofu, don't it? It's sort of like Magic Spectres, mainly because of the Kirin effect of this card that we just summoned, that bird-looking harpy thing. But it's also a bit like Cyframes, because you have like a trap card that you can search that negates, and the monster, the one on the left of my hand right now, you can see, is one that can negate an attack and stop a battle as well using the card from hand. So similar to Cyframe, similar to Magic Spectres, it's one of those weird decks. It's a spellcaster deck, it's a pure spellcaster deck as well. So that's what happened just now. We saw there, Erebus tries to kill one of our dudes, probably the Decode Talker, because the field spell where you stop the attack. It only works if you control an Altergeist card as well, so it sort of only works for this deck. It doesn't really work with like a splashable battle fader for some random stall deck. And the trap card that we just use is basically like the evil swarm trap card that shuffles a card you control or hand to deck to search another monster, in which case we search the Marionette, which searches, it's not search, it sets it from the deck a trap card. Trap cards are really good, it stops your opponent from interrupting you. So continues on what we're talking about. Now Altergeist debuts with 2 trap cards, they're getting one more in the next set which we don't have yet, so I'm not running that in this build. Now what trap card does is you sack off one of your Altergeist cards and you can negate an opponent's monster effect that activates. Nice thing about it is you can just shuffle it back to your deck using the trap card, the non-Altergeist continuous trap card in the middle of this field, and search another one, the ones that will set it from the deck, so you get an extra plus basically. And all the Altergeist monsters pretty much have a floaty effect where if they leave the field they either search or grab a card from the graveyard, so it's a pretty good deck in terms of if they're getting destroyed in longevity. And interruption wise, we're going to use that now. We're going to bounce the Prime Monarch that this the main Monarch guy is using. So we can't be monarched this turn. I'm just basically not letting them tribute summon at all, using on negates and the lack of more than one normal summon per turn. Here we go. We're just going to shuffle this one back, and they're going to use Escalation to tribute summon the Mega Kaias that they search for return. But we're going to interrupt them using our Kirin, which is the wind monster, so we bounce a card and then we bounce their Edea, so they only have 1 tribute fodder. And that's when they scoop because they have nothing else to do because they're going to get OTK this turn. Right, on to the next though. We were up against Invoked Wind Witch, a pretty good deck. It's a solid deck. Very consistent deck, although it's been powered down by the link rulings. So we're going to use our Poke guy, which is the level 1 water one. So what it does is it can attack directly, and if it does do battle damage, you send a card in your opponent's side to the field to the grave. So it's a very annoying monster to deal with. And additionally, if it dies, in which case it's going to happen now, you can search your deck for a Altergeist monster. So it forces a strike because it removes the strike. It's one of the best cards in the deck. I would run 3 in any build of this deck. It's a searcher as well, and it's also a really pesty little thing. 500 attack only, but it can attack directly. And it combos quite well with one of the trap cards that stops you from getting attacked, so you can just keep it on the field, keep poking for damage and sending cards on the field to the graveyard. Right, so what we're going to use here is the trap card. So you basically need the trap card to resolve some effects, such as this card in hand, which stops the battle, as we show in the first game. Can be negated with the monster, the invoked monster, Mekaba, because the trap card only stops cards that negates from the field, the cards you control for some reason. But they didn't word it as in possession, which is weird. Would have been nice if they did. That means you can't strike the card from hand. But we're just going to carry on the turn using Marionette, search the trap card, but Raijin for some reason is going to book a moon it, so we're just going to negate Raijin and kill the Raijin as well. Yeah, that's a pretty bad idea from the other player to do that, and then we can pretty much push the game at this point. Right, on to the last game. We are playing against Elemental Hero, people's favorite deck I guess, but we open a lot of back row. We open 5 back row. That's always a good thing for this deck. Now the build I'm running is a pure build, no other like spellbook engine, because it's a spellcaster deck, so you may want to splash that. Maybe invoke because they have a bunch of different attributes, especially wind, which is one of the important ones, and light. So it combos quite well with that deck. But I'm playing a pure build, so it runs a lot of back row. Since it's a slow deck and it relies a lot on the normal summon, it's a bit more of a control-y build. Okay, we just activate the trap card here, so we have something that we can bounce with the level 2 monster. We're just gonna strike the Shadow Mist. And then props to this guy, he runs Silent Swordsman Tekken Heroes, as I've not seen that before. We're just going to bounce it though using our mini Kirin, bouncing the trap card. The nice thing about it is you can bounce the trap card as well. So we go poke damage guy, send a card to the graveyard. That's just gone. The threat is gone. It's a lost wind. And at the end phase as well, we're going to bounce another back row card. So it can bounce a back row, which is ridiculous. You can just control the field using this card. Although it's kind of weak, only 800 attack, 15 defense. You can just keep on bouncing and harassing your opponent using them. The nice thing about this deck is all about harassing. So much poke damage and all of them lot. And a lot of interruptions as well. So that's why I said it reminds me of Psy-Frames and Magic Spectres in a way. It's just those two together combined. Two very annoying decks to play against. So yeah, that's it for this this one. It was really easy. Yeah, that's it for the duels. Now here is a deck build. It's a pretty standard build. 3 of each of the Altergeist monsters, 3 of the one that negates a battle. This one basically sets the trap card from the deck. The poke guy and the bounce guy. Triple Gofu because we want to link summon sometimes. Although it's not very helpful in making the link monster, the Altergeist link monster. I'll run 2 of that. We'll talk about that later. It's quite an interesting card. 2 hand traps of Ash, 2 hand traps of Ghost Ogre, and 1 more hand trap of Maxx C, so 5 in total. Pretty standard lineup, although if you want to run meta, you want to run 3 of each because you'll get destroyed by all these turn 1 decks. Magic Planter is a cool tech we can run because we can send one of these cards that the 3 of them can be set as well from the deck. And 2 of them, you probably draw them, have 2 of them, you have a spare one, you can send one to draw 2 cards, so it's not a bad tech, I believe, to run in this deck. 1 for 1 because you can spec this this guy from the deck, and that one searches monsters if it leaves the field, so that's quite helpful. A Raigeki, of course, clear the field. This deck struggles to kill a lot of monsters, you have to usually bounce them. 2 Desires because we run 40 cards, 2 Cosmic Cyclones. You can run like 20 extra MSD over this, but I prefer just MSD, I guess, for this deck because it doesn't really have that much hand advantage most of the time. Now for the standard trap lineup, we've got 2 Lost Wind, 2 Strikes, 1 Warning, 1 Compulse. And for the Altergeist trap lineup, we've got the 2 cards that you can't actually search. You can Personal Spoofing for some reason. It lets you search Altergeist monsters, as I mentioned. It's similar to the Evil Swarm one. It's a very good card because it lets you dodge cards. For example, they try to like mind control this card, for example. You can use this card and then shuffle it back to the deck, search a card, so it makes them neg 1 basically. And this is the negate one. 3 of that one, that's the better one. You can also stop your opponent from interrupting your plays, and you can negate an opponent's effect by doing so. And this one is the weird one. It does equip, so it does stay on the field, so you can use it to bounce, so it's recyclable basically. It stops your guy from getting attacked, but your opponent can still attack you directly, which is really weird because it works with this card. I think that's what they intend to do with that. So they'll attack you directly and then you drop this card from your hand. Although they'll probably know that if you played against this deck. So that's it, that's the main deck, it's 40 cards. First of all, for the synchros, we do run Gofu, so that's the tuner that we've got for this deck. Also, you can synchro with these if you want, but I'd rather just use them from the hand. Vermilion Dragon Mech to pop a card and get a Gofu back if it dies. Black Rose to just basically randomly nuke the board if you want. Coral Dragon to pop back row, basically, because this deck doesn't really have that many outs against Black Row other than floating. Rank 4, you can run 3 of your choice, but just run the Utopia, triple Utopia. You can drop that for another guy as well if you want. Now for the link, it's quite interesting. It's kind of hard to make Primebanshee in this deck like turn 1 because there's not many special summoning effects for this deck. And this one only special summons in your opponent's turn if they attack you, so that's kind of very specific. Now the main card that will special summon cards for you is the Marionette, but it's as I said, turn 1 you need to carve cards in grave, so it's not really usable. And the funny thing about this Marionette is you can use it to bring back the Primebanshee. So once you've set up the Primebanshee, it's actually quite good because basically a Marionette plus a Altergeist card to tribute off means a Link 4 play. That's why we run 2 Link 4s, because if you do go into that situation, you do have a lot of Link 4 plays you can do with that. Then next one is 2 Proxies, just because we run 3 Gofu, so you can go into a bunch of Link 3s. Link Spider, so you can make Ningirsu with 1 Gofu. 2 of the Link 4s is Borreload, one of the new cards that we're seeing in the set. It's quite good, you can't target it, it's big. 3k is a big problem card for many decks, for example like Burning Abyss or something like that. Topologic to nuke the field. And for the cards I've checked out, basically just generic spellcaster stuff and some other rank 4s that you might want to try out, which is Begushka, it's pretty good rank 4, Kashik Magician. These are 2 new cards coming out in that set as well, you can try them out. Rank 5, maybe you can make that, you can make one with Gofu and the Altergeist dude. You have the Spellbook engine that you can run to draw cards, although this deck does need its normal summon, so I wouldn't really recommend a card engine that uses your normal summon. But you can use your secret search knowledge to tribute off the level 1 to get a search, which is okay I guess, but you won't have an Altergeist card unless you open this continuous trap card. Win-Witch Engine is also pretty good because you don't really special summon turn 1 in this deck, so you just basically normal summon, and this engine doesn't take up your normal summon, so it works quite well. Mixed Crystal Wing, you don't go to the extra deck turn 1 unless you open a Gofu. And one of the interesting ones I've looked up is Silent Magician, because it's a spellcaster deck, so if you open the level 1 and Silent Magician, you summon this turn 1 and you tribute it off and then search a card, and then Silent Magician can negate a spell. You probably have more cards in your hand left by the turn, so it's a pretty big monster. So that's about it for this profile of Altergeist. What do you think? Do you think a pure build will work out? I don't know, maybe in the next set they are getting a new trap card. I don't actually know what it does yet. I'm not read it. Well, it's not even in this client, so I don't know. I know they are getting trap card in the next set after circuit break, so yeah, maybe check that out in a bit. Don't know how much it helps them, but any support is good. So yeah, that's it for this video. What do you think, guys? Comment down in the section below, and thanks for watching.